Hi team, I'm going to bring you a few more exercises to work on mobility, and today's focus will be a little bit of the T-spine, so the thoracic spine, the upper portion of our shoulders and our spine. This is going to affect a lot of our cyclists, our swimmers, our field event throwers, our power lifters, and pretty much everybody, because we tend to allow the shoulders to roll inwards, this internal rotation of the shoulder on the computer, driving, if we're sitting down a lot because we're stuck in quarantine. This is just an exercise to help open everything up so we can work on our posture, allow the shoulders to open up and get a little bit stronger in the rear. So one of the things we're going to need, if you have a foam roller, it helps. Otherwise you can do this one on the ground. And a PVC pipe, maybe a broomstick. You can probably use a towel, something just to stretch the arms apart. So I'm going to lie on the foam roller lengthwise, so it's along my spine. I'm going to do my best to get a little bit of my head on the foam roller so it has some support. And I'm going to take my PVC pipe and I'm going to start first, my feet are on the floor, knees are bent by the way, so I'm going to be nice and stable, about shoulder width apart. So the first motion I'm going to have is just going to, with straight arms, I'm going to reach just above my head. And once I get down to here, I'm going to bend my elbows and just tap the top of my head. Push the arms straight back again, then raise it back up again. You can do 2 or 3 of these. Keep it nice and slow. As I bend my elbows and bring the PVC pipe to my head, I can feel my shoulder blades start to move around the foam roller. Back up. Once you get about 3 of those, I'm going to walk my hand out on each end and do the same motion. So now my hands are a little bit wider and I feel a little bit more mobility down to the floor. I'm still going to pull the elbows down, tap the top of my head, press it back up again, and back to our start position. I'm going to do 3 of these as well. Top of the head, press it out. 1 more. And as I come up to my last position here, a little bit wider, I can really start to feel what my shoulder blades are doing on the foam roller here and down the bottom. It's starting to wrap itself around. And so I can feel a little bit more mobility throughout my shoulder blades. The next mobility drill we have is a T-spine mobilization. It actually does a lot more stretching throughout the triceps and the lats and a bunch of things going on within the shoulders. What you need is either a chair, a couch, again, PVC pipe, broomstick. You can do this with a towel as well, just an outstretched towel. And you're going to go ahead and kneel and place your elbows. I'm going to flip my grip so now my palms are up holding on my PVC pipe, broomstick, whatever you have. And I'm going to start by getting myself into a neutral chin, straighten out my spine. I'm not going to try and get too droopy here. I'm going to straighten it all out. And then I'm going to start to glide back into my hips. And once I get to a point where I feel stretch in the low back, I'm going to go ahead and bend the elbows. So I may or may not make it behind my neck. That's all right. I'm going to extend and sit back up again. It's important to get that little sit first and watch you not droop, and we're still going to keep the straight spine down and low back. So I'm going to glide back, sit back, feel the stretch, curl behind. Glide back, straight back. And if you want a little deeper stretch, you can flatten out the feet. Glide back, sit back, sit back, sit back, really sit, but watch we're not trying to get that little extension in the low back. We're still going to straighten it out. Reach. And my head did get a little closer to the bench. So that's one easy way to just feel a little bit more stretch throughout the lats and the triceps, and a little bit more of the T-spine. There's one more mobility drill you can incorporate into your warm-up or just in your everyday movement, and it's just a supine plank. So supine meaning top end up. I'm going to place my hands on the floor behind my hips. My fingertips are pointing towards my tush. As you start to walk the hands around, it gets a little bit more comfortable in the elbows. So I'm going to turn everything forward. I'm going to outstretch my feet so heels are digging into the ground. First motion, opening up the chest. So I'm going to open up my chest, pull my shoulder blades back. I'm going to dig my heels into the ground and start to lift my hips up towards the ceiling. So right now I feel a pretty decent stretch around my shoulder blades, across my chest, and since I am leaning back into my hands, I can really feel the heels of my hand taking a lot of the pressure on. If this is a little bit too much, of course you can have your feet flat on the floor, knees bent, and still lift. Just working on that opening of the chest, trying to pull shoulders back, opening up the chest, and you'll feel a pretty decent stretch right across the chest.